Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back. This is part 2 of the Frankenstein podcast with Sam. We move beyond the 1930s and we head into later iterations, including works from Mel Brooks and, of course, the recent version on Netflix by Guillermo del Toro. We also stop in the way to have a look at something from Roger Corman and a little surprise. Something small, but a little hidden gem. Spoilers ahead. I'm trying to remember Young Frankenstein. When did that even come out?
I think it was 1974.
Sounds about right.
About that time?
I believe it was made before Blazing Saddles, but was released after. It was delayed on release.
Yeah.
I can't recall exactly why, but when Blazing Saddles was a hit, it then got released. Now, I haven't seen it too. Was it?
Yeah, won a couple of Oscars, and I've forgotten which one, but definitely.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
So, Blazing Saddles, pretty much anyone who hasn't seen it, see it.
Yeah.
It's
highly offensive.
And
incredibly funny.
Yeah, it's also ripped the guts out of the Western genre.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a Western after that, a sincere Western after that.
That's right.
Without really rethinking. Yeah,
because the 60s, they were still pumping them out. And then after that, you got the introspective films that were really analysing in themselves, but in a more serious way.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, it did shook up the genre, to put it mildly.
Yeah. I think it was a writing guru.
Okay.
Describes Blazing Saddles as exposing the fascist heart of the Western genre.
Oh, interesting.
And for those who haven't seen it, Blazing Saddles is about a town where the authorities send in a black sheriff. It's got a lot of
racial tension.
Racial tension, and plays on that really effectively.
Yeah, mostly for laughs.
But it does.
It's still kind of grim. It is pointing at the horrible nature of this thing.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of iconic lines, many of which we can't repeat here.
Yeah.
But it's it is interesting to put that in there for context.
Yeah.
Because, so in the early 70s, the Hammer horror films were still around, but they're on their way down. So you still had Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing making Dracula films.
Actually, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing did do a Frankenstein version of it.
There was the first of the Hammer films, and Christopher Lee played the monster. He also played the mummy the following year, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
And so the idea that these horror films were around, but they were on a downward spiral. So it seemed an appropriate time, I suppose, for Mel Brooks to do his thing. I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I wasn't super impressed with it when I did. But I've since gone back and fallen in love with the James Bond versions. I'm sure I would reevaluate it now. But what can you tell us about it?
Okay, so Mel Brooks, it was mainly... So the script was written by Gene Wilder. It's sort of probably more a Gene Wilder project than Mel Brooks. Mm-hmm. So Mel Brooks was brought in by Gene Wilder to direct. Mm-hmm. It's got Marty Feldman as Igor. And if you have not seen Marty Feldman, the guy's... He's a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And just funny to look at.
A comedic genius.
Yeah.
He had that condition, I can't remember what it is, but it makes the eyes bulge.
Yeah.
It's a medical condition.
They would often sort of look different ways and all that. But his version of Igor, whose hump would change sides every now and again.
Much like the mole in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Is it a mole on the different side of your face? I have a mole?
I think that actually the same joke's in...
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So...
Repeating himself.
I think it's self-referential. It's
fair enough. You get away with it.
Yeah. Also, so here you had... So Igor is sent out to steal a brain from a wonderful brain depository.
Because that's a common thing, of course. Yes.
Yeah, of course. And then instead of, getting the genius, wonderful brain, which he accidentally drops.
From the original.
Yeah. And he
gets a criminal brain, that's directly from the original film. Yeah.
And this one, he gets abnormal. The abnormal brain.
Okay.
And that's what's put into the monster. The monster is... How would you describe it? He's sort of a slapstick idiot.
I think, the monster is played for laughs. Yeah. Most definitely.
But eventually you get Victor Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yes.
Not Frankenstein. Sort of using a bit of his own brain into the monsters, and they eventually almost swap roles.
Right, okay.
So Victor ends up being, the idiot, and the monster sort of ends up being the intelligent one, and the way it's done is just... The girl by the lake scene is one of the funniest, where...
I actually don't remember that. Can you recount that for us?
So, similar setup, almost exactly the same shot, only there's a seesaw there.
Okay.
And she's playing with the monster. Eventually they get onto the seesaw, and of course, she's on one side, the monster's on the other. The girl just goes flying.
Oh, dear. That's very Mel Brooks.
Yeah. The blind man scene, so...
It's a beautiful scene from Bride of Frankenstein. It's a really touching scene because he's the one person who treats him well because he can't see.
Yeah.
And so he treats him with, shall we say, a Christian kindness.
Yeah.
And how does it play out in Young Frankenstein?
So Young Frankenstein, we've got to remember he's blind. So he feeds, gives him soup. Yeah. Of course, he misses and pours the hot soup straight into the monster.
The monster's still trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then in the original film, he sort of gives him a cigar and shares a cigar with the monster and sort of shows kindness to the monster. Here, he gives him the cigar and, of course, accidentally sets the monster on fire. Yeah. Yeah. So it's played for laughs, but it's not... It doesn't at any time degrade the original.
No, it's not making fun of the original.
It's finding humour that could have been in the original but was missed, I think.
Yeah, purposely missed. It was meant to be...
Young Frankenstein is a beautiful love letter to it.
I think I need to revisit that.
I would revisit it, especially now that you've...
Now that I rewatch the James Whale films practically annually. Yeah. I find it very hard to watch the first without immediately putting in Bride. Yeah. It's a great double feature. And you put the two together, it only goes for about 2 hours and 20 minutes or something, maybe 2.5 hours for both films. Yeah. Not too bad. With your permission, I might jump ahead a little bit.
I think we probably should.
Yes. Chronologically, I'll mention one briefly. Speaking of Roger Corman, I have the damaged case in my hand. The Postal Service wasn't too kind to this. Yeah. I went looking for this because I read the book, Roger Corman's book about how I made 100 movies and never lost a dime, or whatever that book was called. And he said, and I'm about to return to directing for the first time in 15 years. So the book was published in 1990. I'm going to do this thing called Frankenstein Unbound. And I went, a Roger Corman Frankenstein film? Starring John Hurt and Raul Julia. Yeah. Raul, Julia, yeah. So,
those of you who don't know, that Raul Julia played Gomez Addams in the first two Addams Family movies.
And also M. Bison in Van Damme's Street Fighter film, which was, sadly, he passed away, I think, even before the film was released. He was, they had to delay shooting. He was very, very ill. Yeah. It does an incredible job. Very good comedic performance in that film. Yeah. It was just a Tuesday, as he said. I watched this, and I only mention it briefly because it's a weird... So 1990, I believe this was released. Yep. And it was at a time when these films weren't being done. So it's interesting. So, for example, Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula, one of my favourite titles for a film, came out a couple of years later. Yeah. And then Francis Ford Coppola's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein came out a couple of years after that. So with that starred Robert De Niro as the creature. That was mid-95, I think, that came out. Yeah. I will mention that just briefly in a moment, but my point is this came out when there was a bit of a lull for these so-called classic tales. So this is set in the future. John Hurt has this new technology, isn't it great? Whatever. The conceit is basically he accidentally travels back in time, and there he is, and he meets Mary Shelley. But, so you think, so I'm going, wait, hang on, is this... So you got Mary Shelley, the author, but then there's a monster going on. Wait a minute, what? So what he quickly realises is, you're Mary Shelley. But then he meets Victor Frankenstein. And then he goes, so she hasn't
written the book yet, but it's obviously based on true events. That's the conceit of the film.
Yeah.
So there is a monster already around, and he, so John Hurt's character then has to try and solve this problem of this killer monster, and he tries to help Victor, who's played by Raoul.
Doesn't it have Michael Hutchins in it somewhere?
Michael Hutchins plays
Lord Byron or something?
Lord Byron, and I can say Michael Hutchins was a very good singer.
He was a great singer.
Yes, let's say no more about it. I think the fact that he's only in one scene is perhaps a blessing.
And I'll be honest, in Dogs in Space, he doesn't really have a lot of lines.
For the benefit of the film, shall we say. Big Michael Hutchins fan, stick to the In Excess albums, I think. So the film is interesting, and it has some good Roger Corman gore in it, when the monsters pull someone's arm off and beats them with it.
There's not enough of that in new films.
Yes, I know, and unfortunately this film absolutely bombs. So talk about it's one of the few films that he made that didn't make its money back. It's not good, but it is worth a watch and is interesting as a different version of this. Because, like I said, the conceit that the monster and Frankenstein were real people, and therefore the book was actually based on real events is a nice little gag, shall we say. But throwing time travel into it is kind of interesting. And they play up the sympathy of the monster a little bit, and the idea that they're just really trying to kill him, to kill the monster. And the monster's like, what are you doing? And he does go with... he ends up killing Victor's bride, and then Victor uses the body to make the bride. But he also reneges like he does in the novel. So the fact that he basically snaps, and it becomes quite grotesque. So you have the monster's bride quite literally built from his own dead bride who was killed by the monster, and it becomes this cycle of violence. And then they end up travelling to a different time and place at the end, but whatever.
It actually sounds a little bit... There was a recent Doctor Who one up that had...
elements of that.
Well, I think it was... what was the name? The 13th Doctor. And I've forgotten the name of the lady who plays the 13th Doctor, but she goes back and meets Mary Shelley, and on that night that she wrote Frankenstein. Also,
John Hurt was one of the doctors as well.
He was the War Doctor.
The War Doctor, yes. Yeah. Well, nice little coincidence.
Yeah.
Anyway, just mentioning that. This version so when I ordered this Frankenstein Unbound, good old eBay, and it had this thing called Frankenstein, and it was a mini-series, and I went, what is this? Never heard of it. But it just came as a package, and I watched it, and ready for this bombshell. This is my favourite version of the novel, this series here. If we measure by the quality of adaptation. Is a very faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
And you can sort of say, well, who cares? Faithful doesn't necessarily mean good, but I'm saying it is a very good adaptation. And sorry, just before I jump in, I should mention, between 1990 Frankenstein Unbound, 2004 this series came out. In between was the Francis Ford Coppola's version, which he ultimately decided to produce and not direct after his Dracula film. And I was going to revisit it for this conversation, and I kind of just went, it's just been forgotten in the sands of time.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro, I think, did a pretty interesting take on the monster, but I think it's been lost for a good reason, and I was happy just to not talk about it. Just mentioning it was there, though.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I can imagine Robert De Niro wouldn't be that great a choice for the monster.
Yeah, I don't think that's the film's problem from what I can recall. But anyway, it exists. Good for it. Yeah. The unfortunate thing is it was given, just like Coppola's Dracula, it's called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I think this series should be called Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, because this is the faithful adaptation. It's a Hallmark film. Which, generally speaking, Hallmark films, I think,
I think Christmas films.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Christmas shows.
Yeah, and this it ain't. So, a little bit of background. I'm not going to break it down too much, but a little bit of background. It stars Alec Newman, who only 2 years prior in the year 2000 and the year 2002, in the two miniseries, he played Paul Atreides. So in 2000 was June. In 2002, by the Sci-Fi Channel, was Children of June, which was another 3 episodes about the second and third novel. And in the first version, he played Paul Atreides, and William Hurt played his father.
Okay.
So now 2 years later, here he is, and William Hurt is also in this. Just a funny little coincidence. So you have Alec Newman played the iconic Paul Atreides, and only 2 years later he plays the iconic Victor Frankenstein.
Okay.
And he's a Scottish actor. You wouldn't know it when you listen to him. And he does... It's interesting. I love those sci-fi versions of Dune, but I can see he has improved as an actor by this stage. He does an excellent Victor Frankenstein. William Hurt plays his mentor, who is at first encouraging him, but then the powerhouse performance of Donald Sutherland as the ship's captain. So the ship's captain, of course, is from the novel, and Victor is recounting his story. And unfortunately, I have to say, Alec Newman is a very good actor, but you notice that the difference when you see him next to legends like William and Donald. William and Donald Sutherland are just legendary actors, and in a Hallmark film, they stand out and make everyone else look poor by comparison, even though Alec Newman is a good actor.
And in fact, that's one of the things that Bram Stoker's Dracula sort of suffered from. You had
Keanu Reeves and
Winona Ryder. You know, in any other film, they're good. But compared to who was it?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, and he was in Silence of the Lambs.
You're talking about he's the main...
Yeah, he plays Van Helsing.
Are you talking about
Anthony Hopkins?
Right, yeah.
So, of course, you've got Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins, legendary actors.
Yeah, and Winona Ryder.
Keanu Reeves.
They were miscast.
Miscast.
Keanu Reeves was at the time going, "Yo, dude," in these other movies, and here he is.
And he was brilliant at that.
Yep.
Or, and Winona Ryder, again, good in the other stuff she was doing, but...
Not in that. And that's... But the difference here is Alec Newman is well cast and he does a good job, but he still pales in comparison. I'll also mention that the creature was... Talk about weird coincidences. I'm trying to remember his name now, but the creature is played by an actor who plays the main villain in Blade 2, directed by Guillermo del Toro. Okay. And he plays a very, very sympathetic creature. There's this really powerful scene when Victor has built the bride, is about to turn it on, and his first creation is there, touching her. We have this beautiful family together. It's going to be great. And that's when Victor goes, "Family. There's going to be more of them. I can't do it." So he very dramatically sets fire to the laboratory, burns the creature, the unborn, shall we say, bride, and then the creature bellows at him and says, "You destroy my family, I'll destroy yours." It's such a powerful scene. It is more powerful. We'll jump ahead in a moment to the new version. It's more powerful than any other version I have seen.
Okay.
So here it is, Hallmark. It looks like a 2004 TV show at times. Yeah. When shot in daytime. Yeah. A lot of those, 90s and early 2000s where, when you see, the building looks okay, but then you see the sunlight, it just looks cheap and grainy. Yeah. It's got that look.
So they haven't mastered proper colour grading or didn't have the money for it.
Right, exactly. So when the night scenes, it all looks good, and like I said, the acting's good. Alec Newman's fake beard in the scenes when he's talking to Donald Sutherland don't look great. So there's patches of things where you go, this is a TV budget. Yeah,
but then again, is that a fake beard or one that he tried to grow and just...
Well, there's a good point. Yeah. But you see Donald Sutherland with his proper beard, it just pales in comparison.
So that's the key to good acting, folks. How, especially from a male actor, how well he can grow the beard.
That's the only measure of success. Therefore, Donald Sutherland is a good actor. Yeah.
He does great beard.
Yeah. Where's Donald Sutherland's beard? It's over there. I'm Donald Sutherland. So I what an obscure, random find, completely random, and it is with those qualifications, TV budget, blah blah blah. It is, I would say, comparable to the originals, as in James Whale films, but you watch them for different reasons. Yeah. This is a 3 hour, 2 episodes, 3 hour adaptation that is very faithful but very effective. So they didn't go, we have to put this scene here because it was in the novel. They still make changes where appropriate.
Yeah.
And like I said, at the moment, it's very powerful. And whereas you go to watch the James Whale versions for very good classic films that were happy to make greater changes and so on. So if you want faithful adaptation, this is your number one.
Okay.
If you want great, interesting interpretation, as you said before,
Yep.
you go the James Whale versions.
Yeah.
So it is a little apples and oranges, but I hold them both in very high regard, very high esteem.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to, here we are, an hour in, we should probably get to...
We probably should, to the recent version.
Yes. I have probably a lot to say, but I think I could probably condense my thoughts a little bit.
Okay.
I made some notes, and because thoughts were complex, but I'm going to do my very best to be succinct, which has not worked once in the series in the history of the show. But
it's a podcast. If you're succinct, then there's no point listening to it.
That's right. Here's the 30-second soundbite. What are we doing? Okay, here's a few points. The idea that you had Charles Dance, Victor Frankenstein, you see his childhood and his parents being really powerful, and Charles Dance, incredible, one of my favourite actors.
Yeah, he's great.
But then killed off, interestingly, which is not originally from the text.
Yeah.
The death of his mother, I thought I was getting very Pan's Labyrinth vibes from that.
Yeah.
So some recurring things there. So yes, change of text, as in change from the novel, very much about the parental relationship, very much about I've created this thing, I'm the father and this is the child and I'm teaching it.
Yeah.
Not teaching it well, but it's very much that's the core of this thing, I would say. Dynamic camera work is a little note I made.
Yeah.
Distractingly so. At the very first part, especially in the Arctic, and when the monster's attacking them, which of course is not from the novel at all.
Yeah.
There's way more action in it, which I understand modern audiences, but I thought it was kind of superfluous, really. You don't need to see him kick an ass.
Yeah.
But the idea that they made the monster truly immortal, you cannot kill it.
Yeah.
Which is not from the original text that I recall.
And
but a very overactive camera work, which thankfully calms down. I found it a bit distracting, which I don't know if that's normal for Del Toro. I've only seen a few of his films, and I feel he is very active with the camera.
He is.
But this felt a bit too much.
Yeah, sort of almost going back to Pacific Rim.
Yeah, kind of it's emphasis, it's action, it's movement, it's all of this stuff. But the idea that you have what looked like a crane and it's going down and from the top of the boat down to the bottom and it's moving. So I'm doing this, I'm moving with it, I'm going, ooh, it's a little bit too much. So I found that distracting, and I don't normally find Del Toro's work distracting. So there is that. Quick mention, they did some filming in Edinburgh.
Yep.
I happen to live in Edinburgh, and it was, as a personal note, it was nice to revisit. Very well shot.
Oh, beautifully shot. And my wife's Scottish, so anything shot in Edinburgh or Glasgow, she'll immediately want to watch and say, "Oh, we've been there."
Yeah. There's a bit of that. I recognise a little bit.
And also, I'll be honest, having the medical museum in Edinburgh and going there, linking that sort of those ideas to Frankenstein is just a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it made sense. That sense of time and place was impeccable.
Yeah.
Absolutely impeccable. So there's a positive for you.
Yeah.
The theme of, there's very much an anti-war sentiment. A lot of references to, I mean, for example, he collects body parts because there's a big battle coming up. You collect body parts from soldiers.
Yeah.
So there was a real sense of, and his benefactor was making money by selling arms. Yeah. And that's not shown in a positive light. No. So there's very much an anti-war sentiment.
I don't think many arms dealers are either biological arms or otherwise are seen in a positive light.
True, but why put that in there? So it's interesting Del Toro chose to do that today of all times, which is interesting to note.
Yeah.
The relationship with his brother was very different because, of course, in the novel his brother was young. There's an age gap of some 15 years or something.
Yeah.
Whereas here is more like 5 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
They're both adults is the point. So that relationship is elevated, which I thought was good, except he is the relationship between them felt forced. I felt no connection between them whatsoever. I suppose because Victor is very standoffish and removed and becomes very inhuman himself. So the idea that when his brother dies, no great spoiler, he died in the novel too. Oh no, this is tragic, right? And I felt nothing at all, which is strange for Del Toro. He's usually better at getting emotional responses, I thought.
Yeah.
But then there's a moment where, as his brother's dying, he says, this evil is following you, Victor. And he says, you are the monster. And I just went, that's the theme of the movie. Don't say the theme out loud. Like, George Romero didn't have to go, this is a commentary on, well, whatever. Each film was a different commentary. But he didn't have a character going, this film is about commercialism. You know, it's like, no, don't say the theme out loud. That's bad screenwriting. Yeah.
Well, I had so one, I thought it looked beautiful. I will not, the art direction, the cinematography.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah, breathtaking.
Breathtaking, yeah.
Yeah, especially the lab scene and everything.
I love Mikkelsen as the ship captain.
Yes.
He was great.
Fantastic.
Mia Goth, again, not my favourite role of hers.
No, there was an interesting take. She's not played as sympathetic.
No.
My question would be, was anyone apart from the monster?
Yeah, I think my problem with it was from the very start, we know that Victor is mad.
Yeah.
So they explain why he's mad. Yes, he is mad, and he doesn't really change.
No.
And he doesn't... I won't say he doesn't see the error of his ways.
For juxtaposition, the original, if you play the two James Whale films together, the original Victor, he goes through a tremendous amount of change.
Yeah.
He has a lot of regret, remorse. He's coerced into creating the bride. He doesn't want to. There's so much change in the character from what could have been pretty hammy, silly sort of role. So the fact that it's not done in a film today is surprising, I think.
So I think they're really making out Victor to be the villain from the very start.
Yeah, and there was a missed opportunity there where you could have seen a change.
Yeah, and I think that's problematic. And also, again, you always see the monster as sympathetic.
Yeah.
I don't mind the monster. I think the monster has to be sympathetic.
Yeah.
But it can't be, poor thing from the very, very start.
There needs to be a moment where you go, oh dear, and that's in the original. That's when he drowns the girl. And then in the second film is when he kills the father of the girl. There needs to be something.
There needs to be some ambiguity there.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he's not. They think he's evil because he has no soul. Oh, he's not evil, but he doesn't know better. But that's still terrifying. The idea that he's basically,
a toddler in a
well,
a toddler in a
very real sense, really.
In a superhuman body.
Yeah. So that's kind of scary, and that's the point. I mean, I never felt scared for any of the characters around the monster.
No,
and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So for example, when because the film's in two parts, and I want to say it's in the first part where the creature is locked up downstairs, and Victor, so his brother and the fiance, they're not married at that point, are they?
Yeah.
They arrive unexpected, and he doesn't want them to know that his benefactor, played by Christoph Waltz, played very well by Christoph Waltz, is dead, and doesn't want to know that the creature's downstairs, or the creature even exists. Yeah. But she heads down there and finds the creature, and she immediately goes right up to it, and I'm feeling no tension at all. Yeah. That creature I should have felt that creature may strangle her simply because it doesn't know any better. Yeah. So the idea that it's born kind of pure and childlike, I think, is a problem, because it's supposed to be tabula rasa. It's supposed to be clean slate. Yeah. And it becomes bad because of bad things happening to it. But it starts off kind of pure. Yeah. And where it should be dead set in the middle, or dead set neutral. And therefore, it's being treated poorly by Victor. But there was no sense of danger from this thing. Yeah. Despite, I mean, the makeup work was incredible.
Makeup. Again, art direction. Yeah. Beautiful.
And the actor, perfect.
Yeah, he was great. It's just that we didn't have a sense of fear at all.
Which is a problem for what at its core should be a horror.
Yeah.
We should be feeling, oh no, for at least some of the characters. I felt it. Not at all.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And it's actually interesting if you have a look at the classification on Netflix, it actually just states it's a drama.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I get that, but it's got horror dressing, shall we say. And it's like, okay, you don't have to do that, but what's the point then?
Yeah.
Like so, for example, there is a tremendous sense of there's a real sense of nihilism here, where it's just it's very depressing. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Well, it's a dark story.
Absolutely. Victor becomes the villain. Victor becomes the antagonist.
He's the antagonist from the very start. We know he's insane. He is.
Yeah, I got no problems with him being the villain. But the progression... Okay, wait, let me throw another contention at you then.
Yeah.
So the idea that you've got two parts, quite clear, it actually says part 2 begins here. Part 1 is Victor's, part 2 is the monster. You know what would have been really great is if the first version is Victor telling his story to the sea captain, to the boat captain, and there's gaps.
Yeah.
And then the monster comes in and says, no, this is what happened. And then you have the unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to the end of part 1, we're going, this monster's scary and Victor is a victim. And then the monster turns up and says, no, this is what happened. So, for example, you wouldn't see Christoph Waltz's character, I can't remember the character's name, you wouldn't see him die in Victor's version, but maybe the creature gets out and sees the body and realises what happened, and then we piece it together and go, wait a minute, Victor's the bad guy. Yeah, that would have been interesting.
That would have been a great film. That would have just pushed it to the next level.
And how do you justify your existence? That after 100 years, how do you justify a version that's interesting? That's how you do it. Whereas, to be honest, the more I've thought about this film, the more I'm going, apart from the way it looked and felt, again, sense of place and so on, I don't think I like this. I don't think I'll revisit this. They released simultaneously a documentary behind the scenes. I got halfway through it and just said, I don't care.
Yeah, I started watching that and went, I don't care. So I think...
Cuddly disappointed.
Yeah, I was disappointed as well. It didn't have... I mean, if we looked at Nosferatu, that basically recreated, the themes of the original... The two original things, and sort of pushed it further and thematically, and still made a great film.
Yes.
This made a beautiful film. Must have had a massive budget.
Yeah. It had Netflix dollars to throw around. So.
And Guillermo del Toro, he is Oscar-winning director. Horror icon. But I think he's sort of become a little bit like Peter Jackson did after Lord of the Rings, where he's become self-indulgent. Yeah,
I think you might be right. And when I heard this, I went, "Oh, fantastic! Sign me up! I can't wait to see this." Yeah. And similar to the Wolfman that came out earlier in the year, I went, "Oh, a new Wolfman film! Great!" Ugh, what a disappointing couple of films.
Mind you, did you see The Invisible Man a couple of years ago?
Hence, same director.
Yeah, that was.
Hence why I was thinking, this could be interesting.
Yeah, that was a really, really, probably one of the best interpretations of the story.
Yes, and isn't that interesting? So you have this old text that was done famously by Universal in the 30s, and then you have this new modern interpretation. Now, I'm not suggesting... I think the idea that they chose to do a somewhat faithful version with I'm talking back to Del Toro's version here, I think is good. Like when you say, let's make Frankenstein but set it now, like the Invisible Man did, I don't... Sure, do that version.
It becomes a completely different film.
Yeah, and
it removes itself from the text.
I think, sure, someone should... I mean, probably someone has done that, and I just haven't paid attention. But I'm happy that they chose to keep it in the same, more or less the same time and place. But, the stuff that makes the story great, as in the original text great, is either just done here verbatim and they haven't done anything with it, in which case we've seen it so many times, who cares? Yeah. Or when they did try to push it, they didn't push it far enough. Yeah. So there's another thing there. I don't know much about Del Toro, but perhaps is he especially religious because the concept of Christian forgiveness is ploughed in there. So great, emphasize something different. Why not?
Yeah,
that didn't bother me at all. So for example, the blind man is the first text he gives you is the Bible.
Yeah,
and the idea that he is killed, the blind man is killed, and still he's saying no, don't give in to hate, basically. And I will say, on a positive, they did push that further, and the ending has Victor and the creature reconciling.
Yeah.
And the creature forgives.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually interesting. Like, do something different so it doesn't end with this dramatic thing. But wouldn't that have been so much more powerful if we spent the first half of the movie fearing and potentially hating the creature and sympathising with Victor, and then having that turned on its head and us therefore hating Victor for not only the things that we've since found out that he's done, but the fact that he was lying to us and the captain for the first half, and then we become sympathetic, and then the creature still forgives him. Wouldn't that have been fantastic?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. So again,
and it was all there.
Again, Victor, from the start, he is the antagonist.
Yeah.
We always know he's the antagonist.
Yeah.
So he doesn't change in that sense.
Yep.
And the monster is always the protagonist. So he's always a sympathetic character.
Yep. Except for the prologue where you see him attacking them, but whatever, that's just a prologue.
And had they and that approach that you're just describing would have made that prologue far more effective.
Definitely.
And especially if we've got, this monster sort of haunting them for the first half of the film.
Yeah, the monster is...
Or even the first 3/4 of the film.
Well, maybe.
And then the monster comes in and it flips.
Yeah, only in the third act rather than halfway through, maybe.
And I agree with you. I think that would have been far more effective.
And I wonder if that was an earlier version, because why else have two parts? Because it just feels like the movie pauses for a minute and then keeps going. The fact that the narrator in the second half is the monster is really incidental. It's just now we can see stuff that Victor hadn't seen.
Yeah.
So it's a plot convenience. No, it should have been a thematic smack in the face.
Yeah.
And instead it was just, but we need to see what the monster was doing, and Victor wasn't there, therefore we need to have the monster being the narrator. Really?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's the reason why the monster walked in at that moment? Okay. So, the more I thought about it, when I walked out of it, I thought, especially the ending and ending on forgiveness, with that ending, I thought, okay, and I was generally positive, but not super positive. And as I say, the more I thought about it, the more I just went, no, it's I don't hate it. Yeah. It's just I see some wasted potential. Yeah. And I think this is going to be largely kind of forgotten. Like, this won't be a spike of, that's the version of Frankenstein, like the Invisible Man that's the modern interpretation of that text. Yeah. This has not become the definitive version or the definitive modern version. Yeah. It's just...
It looks great. I know a lot of people love it already.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I also... Maybe it's because Guillermo del Toro is a great director. He has made some wonderful, wonderful films. But I think maybe part of what I'm coming from is a bit of disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what's driving. See, I don't hold him in tremendously high esteem. I've only seen a handful of his films. I've liked all of them, and he's the sort of director, when I see his name attached to something, I go, ooh, interesting. Yeah. But he's not my favourite director by any means.
No, same here.
But I still had higher hopes based on what I knew of him.
Yeah. So, I have to say, I didn't like Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. So.
Just goes too long.
Okay.
And it's not that scary. Shape of Water, I thought that was...
That's my favourite film of his. Yeah, Shape of Water is a really interesting film.
I really liked Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes, same.
I could not stand Pacific Rim, but I don't know how much that was him. And
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. Blade 2 was a very, very good version in the pre-Disney era of everything has to be a big superhero film. Yeah. That was a standout.
Okay.
That was a standout film from the time.
I've only seen the third Blade film.
Oh, God. No, so Blade 1... Here's my review of the Blade series in 30 seconds. Yeah. Blade 1 is a very fun, of its time, 90s film.
Yeah.
Don't think it's aged well. Blade 2 is genuinely a good,
Okay.
by any measure. I rewatched it a few months ago and went, that is a shockingly good film. It is a really good film. Blade 3, if you've got nothing good to say nothing at all. Therefore, Blade 3, full stop.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I've seen the crap one.
Yep. That joke about the third film in a trilogy is always the worst is never truer than here.
Okay.
You think about, say, the difference between Spider-Man 2 and 3, the difference between X-Men 2 and 3, which were contemporaries, and they drop a bit. No, this goes off a cliff.
Okay.
This goes...
And that's sort of... So, I don't know why... I was going through So, I would have been in, third year art school, watching, Peter Greenaway films and David Lynch and, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you wanted something different, I guess.
Yeah. So, I think went to Blade 3 because someone dragged me there and didn't like it very much.
No, and sorry, should just mention, that was not a Del Toro. Del Toro only did the second one.
Yeah.
Call that a thumbs up for Blade 2. Not a thumbs up for his Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. But, there's a lot to... if you do want to see... It's not worth... I wouldn't avoid it.
No. I mean, if you have a Netflix account, then definitely give it a go.
Yeah.
If you don't subscribe just for it.
Yeah. I would say it's worth watching. It's a beautiful film.
Yes. It has its qualities. I think it's just going to be forgettable. That's my prediction.
It's not... Maybe our expectation was too high. Maybe it doesn't do enough of the text.
Correct. And it depends on what you want. See, if you have... Devil's advocate. If you've never read the books and you've never seen any of the other versions, you know of them, but not everyone has actually watched some of those classic films.
Well, Paula, my wife, hadn't seen
right.
any of them.
If that's the case, you're probably more favourable to this film.
Yeah. So she loved the film.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably it then.
And just a quick thing, there is a very subtle Rocky Horror reference.
Is there?
Yep. So once the monster is sort of escapes from the castle, look at his shorts. They are almost exactly... They are golden. They are almost exactly the same as Rocky is wearing from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I can't visualise. I might have to go back and have a look.
They are golden shorts. That's what you need to see it for.
Yeah,
the monster wearing the golden shorts.
And then just stop at that point. You don't need to see it anymore. There you go. All right. So if we were to sum it up, I think
maybe that's the third film we should have discussed was Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, well, next time.
Yeah,
that can be a bonus, perhaps.
Yeah.
All right. So to sum it up, if you're not adverse to black and white films, then for me, the absolute number one is the James Whale, both films.
Definitely. See those.
Easily. If you can somehow track down Frankenstein, the Hallmark series from 2004, if you want a faithful adaptation, and fair enough, not everyone wants a faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
That would be my second recommendation. If you haven't seen any of them, then and you happen to have a Netflix account, sure, watch the Del Toro version.
Okay.
You'll probably be more favourable to them.
And if you are looking for a completely out there version of the Frankenstein story, watch Flesh of Frankenstein, made by and produced by Andy Warhol. It is sick on every single level. There is a version that is in 3D, so you have to wear the glasses.
Oh, I'm curious.
I have seen it in 3D.
Wow.
And it is... There is a deviant version of... It takes all the deviants from Rocky Horror to 11.
Okay.
I'm just saying, not for the faint-hearted.
Okay. Yep. I'm curious.
Yeah, I do have it.
Maybe we swap versions and you can see a light of Roger Corman version, which will be notably different, I think.
Yeah.
Stark contrast. Well, there you go.
And far less sexual. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Andy Warhol. Yeah. I'm curious. All right. There you go. So there's a summary. Gee, a lot of thoughts in there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we better wrap it up. So I guess I'll say this time with confidence for the last time for Series 1, because Series 1 is about to wrap up.
Okay.
There's going to be another bonus episode coming up, but I'll leave it at that for listeners. Of course, anyone listening to this in the future, because you're a time traveller, will already know what it is. But other than that, Series 1 is just about wrapping up. So it's appropriate that you were our first guest and the last guest as well. Bookend to the series. So,
well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Sam. And see you hopefully in Series 2 next year.